When questioned about this, he has claimed that said food was acquired by a cat apparently named Commodore Buckles, which he referred to as his animal companion.
Wait, the cat got you the food, or you cooked the cat and made the food? Like, yo, you gotta be clear.
Later, in the void.
What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Savvy, and welcome back to the Savvy Show. And in today's episode, I really do believe we might have a cool one on our hands, guys. Yo, this looks pretty dope. This is SCP-2686, the Moon Wizard. So, straight up, like, Moon Wizard? Bro, I'm assuming it might be some kind of reality warper or a matter manipulator. Who knows? I really feel it might be something along the lines of that, or they might go the route where it's more comedic for him to have that name and it's not really correlating with what this SCP actually brings to the table. But like always, we're definitely going to find out today what's going on with this. So with that being said, if you guys are excited for this SCP reaction, please remember to smash that like button, guys. It really helps the channel grow and it'll be much appreciated. And also remember, smash the sub button if you're not already part of the family. I make content like this for you guys daily, so you'll always get your fix of SCP doses of heat. I'm telling you. You don't want to miss upload if you enjoy my reaction style and SCP content. So smash that sub button ASAP. Also, hit that bell so you know exactly when I'm dropping more heat. And yeah, with that being said, there's nothing left to be said. Let's get this show started. Alrighty, the Moon Wizard, SCP-2686.
Billy opened his eyes and immediately closed them again.
Billy?
The early morning sunlight shining through his bedroom window was too much for his eyes to handle.
He looked weird.
He lay there, snuggled under his bed covers, thinking about whether or not he should go back to sleep when he suddenly remembered it was his birthday. He threw off his covers, jumped out of bed, and ran downstairs.
Okay.
Mom! Mom! He burst into the kitchen. Happy birthday, Billy! He grinned at his mom, dad, and sister, Francesca. Come, open your presents. They all went through to the lounge as they always did when it was one of their birthdays.
Something seemed
Billy
off.
sat on the sofa in pride of place and watched as his mom put down a huge pile of presents. He was so excited, he began ripping off the wrapping paper as his mom handed him his presents one at a time. Thanks, Mom, it's just what I wanted, Billy said as he looked at his new sweatshirt.
A sweater with B, I'm assuming for Billy? Bruh. I mean, if it's that easy to make you happy, that's good for the parents. You don't need to spend that much. I know some kids nowadays want PS5s and shit, yo. I'm just saying, times were different when I was a kid.
You're very welcome, Billy. When Billy had finished opening all of his presents, his dad turned to him. Oh, I almost forgot. We have one more present for you.
Welcome back to SCP Exposed. I've just finished another day at the Foundation. Now it's time to explore millions of champion.
His dad pulled out a huge box from behind the sofa. Billy's eyes lit up in delight. He wondered what it could be. When he tore off the paper, he gave a scream of delight. Oh my God, I can't believe it. You got me a telescope. Billy had always dreamed of owning his own telescope. Now, his wish had come true.
Wow, that's pretty
cool. That evening, once it was dark, Billy set up his telescope in front of his bedroom window. He looked through it, turning it this way and that. He was amazed by how clear he could see the stars. Next, he turned it onto the moon. But when the moon came into focus, Billy jumped back in surprise.
Uh-oh, the wizard?
He looked back into the telescope to see if he had really seen what he had thought. Sure enough, it was still there. You could see an old man walking on the surface of the moon.
What the heck?
He looked at least 70 years old. He was wearing a blue-green robe and had on a gray nightcap. He held a piece of wood in one hand and was using it to walk with. Billy ran downstairs and told his parents what he had seen. There's a man living on the moon. Both his parents laughed. Oh, Billy, you and your imagination.
Per usual.
It's true. Come and see for yourselves.
So cliche.
But when Billy's parents looked through the telescope, they couldn't see anyone at all.
Ooh.
Billy looked again, but the old man had vanished.
Dang.
He tried to persuade his parents that he had really seen an old man, but they didn't believe him. He knew who would believe him, though. His science teacher at school. Billy's teacher was an astronomy lover, too. They often sat together and chatted about the universe and all its mysteries.
Oh, wow. So he was really into space before he got that telescope. That's pretty cool.
The following day, Billy went straight to find Mr. Taylor, the science teacher. He excitedly told him all about what he had seen through his telescope the night before.
And?
Wow. Well, that certainly does sound interesting, Billy. You should come to my house tonight and I will let you look through my telescope. Then you'll see it for yourself. As soon as it got dark, Billy sat in front of his telescope. He felt nervous to take his first look at the moon. But as soon as he put his eye to the scope, he could see the man, clear as day.
Okay, that's really cool. I'm assuming the teacher didn't come over because that would be kind of weird. But most of the time, especially a teacher that is in that field, which is like astrology, he didn't just completely write him off saying, oh, that's impossible. Like he went along saying, oh, that's interesting, this and that. That's what people should do more than just shutting them down like parents, like, oh, just your imagination, this and that. Like, I mean, that's a good way to go about things. I just appreciate that.
He watched as the man walked across the surface of the moon. The sound of the doorbell took Billy's attention away from the telescope. That must be Mr. Taylor. Billy ran downstairs and opened the door.
Oh, he came over?
It wasn't Mr. Taylor. Instead, he saw two men in dark suits standing in the doorway.
Did Mr. Taylor tell the SCP Foundation? What, and how did he get in contact with the SCP Foundation? What the heck?
Today we bring you Euclid class subject SCP-2686.
What?
But before I go on, make sure you like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Always, bro.
If you do, you might be able to spot the man on the moon, too. SCP-2686 is an...
You just had to throw that in there, bro. Like, you know damn well we ain't going to see the man on the moon. Anyway, let's just keep it pushing.
Adult male human, estimated to be approximately 75 years of age. Currently located within Mare Imbrium on the lunar surface.
Wow.
This location is designated as SCP-2686-1. He is not visibly biologically anomalous, though has claimed in past interviews to possess anomalous capabilities, primarily those generally assigned in Welsh traditions originating in the early Middle Ages as belonging to a magician or wizard. These anomalous abilities include the ability to travel large distances instantaneously, the ability to project energy towards a target, the ability to transform its body at will into the shape of various animals, and several others.
So this is what he's saying, but this is not what the SCP Foundation is observing him doing. So we gotta keep that in mind. He could be just completely capping, and he could just breathe in space for God knows what reason. So let's see until he actually shows us something, and we can find out if that's true.
None of the abilities have at any point been observed by Foundation personnel. SCP-2686 has to date only been seen to wear a single blue-green robe of coarse wool and a small gray nightcap. He is also known to at all times carry a moderately sized piece of oak wood, which he uses as a walking cane. The entity will respond to most lines of inquiry, but will not answer any questions regarding his origins or nature in a direct manner.
I wonder why.
Instead, attempting to change the line of discussion to subjects of religion, mythology, folklore, philosophy, or historical events.
I mean, you could actually, you know, try to dig deep into those things that he's trying to switch. Like, you'd be like, oh, why you're interested in that? Like, what made you get interested? And you could try to, like, change it back to, like, his upbringing and, you know, his origins. But, I mean, I'm sure they were doing that.
Both anomalous and mundane. The entity acts in a non-hostile manner when interviewed, but will refuse any suggestions by Foundation personnel that he should leave SCP-2686-1. SCP-2686-1 is a spherical area of a radius of 45 meters, located on the lunar surface. The area has been reported by SCP-2686 to possess an atmosphere identical to that of Earth, but this cannot be confirmed due to the nature of the region. Objects which enter the area of SCP-2686-1 are immediately transported to the opposite side of the region without interacting with the intervening space. The area encompassed by SCP-2686-1 contains a large amount of soil and grass, along with various trees, primarily oak and ash, as well as a small residence constructed of a mixture of wood, thatch, and stone.
Is that his house?
The exact architecture of the structure does not specifically match any styles found on Earth, although the design is in line with what would be required by a single person living in a rural area. SCP-2686 has at several points been observed to produce food from within the structure, including fresh meats and fruits, which could not reasonably have been acquired in the area or stored for the amount of time which SCP-2686-1 has been under observation.
So they saw him produce the food? Or they just saw the food get produced within that area, or within that area that the wizard occupies?
When questioned about this, he has claimed that said food was acquired by a cat apparently named Commodore Buckles, which he referred to as his animal companion.
Wait, the cat got you the food, or you cooked the cat and made the food? Like, yo, you gotta be clear.
This entity has at no time been observed by Foundation personnel or by autonomous observation equipment.
He's capping.
Due to its static and distant nature, complete containment of SCP-2686-1 and subsequently SCP-2686 is not at this time feasible. However, as a result of its proximity to Outpost Thoth-1, observation equipment has been located near SCP-2686-1, and personnel are to observe the area for any significant changes in conditions or unusual behavior on the part of SCP-2686. Additionally, personnel from Outpost Thoth-1 are to travel via assigned rover to the area on a weekly basis in order to evaluate the status of SCP-2686.
Oh my god.
All images captured of the area by non-Foundation organizations are to be edited in accordance with Security Regulation Document Thoth-1-F. As part of the initial containment, Foundation personnel were tasked with interviewing the entity in an attempt to establish his history. The following interview was conducted by personnel stationed at Outpost Thoth-1 3 days following the discovery of SCP-2686-1. Hello, sir. Do you mind if I ask your name?
I am known as the Great Wizard Niperius, Lord of the Moon and Stars Above,
shouted SCP-2686. I see. And could you describe for me how it is you came to reside on the surface of the moon?
You dare question me, mortal man?
If you don't want to tell us, that's perfectly all right.
Yeah.
Now, moving on.
Don't make a scene.
SCP-2686 began speaking at a normal level.
Wait, you're giving up just like that? Don't even want to ask me for my ancient wisdom?
Maybe seek the secrets of the stars and of your future? Not particularly. Mostly just taking down physical information at this point in time.
Bro, this guy cannot be bothered with your extraness. Like, I'm just saying. This guy's taking back, oh, you don't want to know the secrets of the world? Like, type shit. Like, come on, bro. Answer the questions and keep it pushing, bro.
Now then, if you could provide us with your date and place of birth, we, SCP-2686, interrupted and began shouting again.
This guy is hostile.
How dare you? I will have you know that in my day, I was the greatest wizard of them all. But still, there were too many, and I used my awesome might to transport my home to this distant land, where only the truest of heart could seek my wisdom.
I see.
Then why are you just trying to give it up willy-nilly? Anyway.
And when would you say that this change in location occurred? 2686 once again returned to a normal level of speech.
I have lived in this land for nigh on 300 years, growing in power every day.
Could you give us more info?
Yeah.
The thing is, though, I am a moon wizard after all.
Okay.
Yes, and...
What does that mean?
That means my power is divined from the light of the moon above, you know?
Right.
And we are on the moon itself, after all.
I see.
Where the moonlight is rather below.
Okay.
Indeed.
It has been determined that SCP-2686, in its current state, poses no actual threat to the Foundation or its holdings. But steps should be taken to ensure that it does not leave the surface of the moon. What did you think about that SCP case?
That's it? That's interesting. I don't believe what he's saying is true, actually. I think he's leaving some stuff out. He might not even be a wizard, to be honest. I believe the area that he's occupying has anomaly powers, and that's probably why he's getting teleported to certain areas. Or maybe he potentially is a wizard lost in time, and he actually moved his house on that moon. Well, it would be kind of cool to actually see. But yeah, I'll probably read the SCP file to actually get more information about it, because it seems pretty interesting, just the whole concept with this SCP. So if you guys are actually familiar with the file itself about SCP-2686, let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought about it, and if it was something more accurate to where it's justified for me to believe that he could be lying about something. I would love to hear you guys', thoughts. So with that being said, if you guys enjoyed the reaction, please remember to smash that like button, smash the sub button as well too, if you're not part of the family already, and also hit that bell so you can stay plugged for each and every upload. And unfortunately, that concludes today's episode. However, I'll catch you guys on the next one.